Excuse me. And welcome back to the gameplay. Wait, no. This one talks about. No, not that either. To another. There's other works. And this one. Here we are, once again, trying to make a video game. Except this time we're not actually. Well, we might do something this video, but I think we need a plan first. We didn't have a plan last time when we made Durzon Tech Demo, which we'll probably return. Just either need to dig it out of its grave of data of being on a computer that got killed by Windows update, or I need to redo it. But you're doing it might be best. But yeah, I think what I need to do with RPG Maker is just make a game with the default assets. Just a game. A game with the default assets. I think that's what I need to do. Durzon Tech Demo served this purpose of me just filling around with RPG Maker to be confident in it. But now I just need to make a game. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Not right now, but that's what we are going to do. Project, because why not? Project seems to be all the craze these days. The kid game devs. I mean, to be fair, I'm not really much. I mean, I've been game deving for 3 years, but these people that I call kids right now, they've been game deving for at least 5. So. You know, but anyways, Project is all the up in the blue in the modern day. So Project, get game done, and I'm going to be using Project in the Bando in the Namco sense of it's not really something that expands to anything else. It's just one thing. Project, get game done. Or get game done, or PGGD. It's not really a catchy acronym, but it will work. It's a very German acronym. But yeah. So Project get game done. Okay. So first off, what do we need to do with Project get game done? Project PGGD. Well, first off, I actually probably have a name for it. But another thing is we're gonna need. That's the wrong one. Where in the world did it go? It's right there. Of course, it's all big because Windows. Okay. And this will be twofold as well. How many do something else? Which? It's going to be based in the same setting as the RPG Conflict, the Gemstone Coast, that setting. And it's going to be actually relatively simple in name. It's going to be a really simple thing. Let me grab that. Not Conflict, because that's kind of taken. Chronicles. The Gemstone Chronicles. Okay, so what I plan... Okay, here are the things I've been thinking about while... before getting the time to make this video. But, okay, first off, we'll be using RPG Maker, and we're going to be stuck with RPG Maker. That means no game. I talked about, in the last video, I talked about making a video game, the non-RPG Maker game, which I did label as Unity, but the thing is I might use Godot, but I don't like Godot, or Godot, as it's phonetically, it's how it's actually spelled, Godot. But unlike Godot, I mean, Unity the thing about Unity is it has ray tracing, and I want ray tracing in my game. I won't really do much with ray tracing. It will be like it'd be a toggleable option if you have ray tracing in computer, but I want to help I want to help with the whole situation with ray tracing. I have nothing to play, really. Good to play anyway. So I want to have ray tracing in my game. So I'm probably going to use Unity because Godot does not really like 3D very much. It has 3D function. It does not like 3D very much though. Although it is kind of easy to develop in though. So I'm thinking about coming back to Unity or whatever, non-RPG Maker or its friends. Non-RPG Maker or its friends, coming back to non-RPG Maker or its friends when I have, when I either have spontaneously been able to code, or I can finally code for whatever reason. I finally start learning coding, which I really, really can. Like, oh, people say, oh, just if you're going to get in game dev, just learn how to code. It's easy, they say. Yeah, tell a coder how to make art. Or tell a non-game designer how to game it's easy just to game design. Or a non-writer to write. Like, it's just something, someone who can't do those things, is telling them to do it isn't going to make them do it. Like, I just physically can't code. Now, if you were to say the same thing about music, that's one thing, because I can music, I just don't know how to use the programs to music. But every time I see code, I even tried coding once, and it just don't work. I even tried, like literally, I tried watching a video and typing it into Unity, which they were fine with, of course, because it was a tutorial, and literally nothing happened. I just, whatever code I saw code, I put the same exact thing into Unity and nothing happened. Trying to make a character move. So yeah, it's just, nah, I don't code, because I can't. I just can't, and not to mention, I don't know what he did with the code. I just knew it was gonna do a thing, and I didn't do the thing anyway. So yeah, coding is not the thing that I can do. It's not a thing I can do. I can do a lot of things. I can't code. So yeah, so I'll be stuck with RPG Maker until I fix that. Because the nice thing about RPG Maker is you don't have to code at all with it, but you can still make a pretty unique game. But that's also the thing about RPG Maker is you can very easily not make a unique game. That's why I've been resisting not having at least art. But yeah, that's one of the things that's one of the things I want to skip with the Gemstone Chronicles, or mostly skip. I'll probably still have art. I'll probably at least have character art. No. But the thing is, it's a slippery slope with me, because if I say at least, then I'll go for more and more and more. I'll grab that mile if you give me an inch when it comes to RPG Maker. And in Project Get Game Done, and in Project Get Game Done, what we're going to do is to simply make a game. We're going to boot up RPG Maker and make a game. It's going to rely heavily on my writer talents, on my author talents, and nothing else. I mean, it's also going to make it so I can get something out of it, at least. Like a 99-cent something, a 30-cent something, 3-cent something, who knows. But yeah, so it's... Okay, so we need to actually copy these. And then the other question is, how much of content do we want? Do we want to do the RPG? Do we want to do the full game version of Tech Demo? There's a lot of Tech Demo where we... Do we do the full game version of There's a Tech Demo where we have branching stories like Ace Combat, like Japanese Ace Combat 3, and basically have a hub world where you can level up to the max level 10. We can level up to level 10 instantly, and you just have fun like in that, or what? I don't know, and that's bugging me. That's really bugging me. Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be that's an Abitrium thing. Okay, well, at least I know that from what I wrote. I didn't know that for a little bit there, but yeah. Then we'll be right back. There's a reason why this isn't really a live stream. Could be, but it isn't. Be right back. Okay, back. Alright. Okay, but, yeah, main ideas. Concept ideas. Main concept. And this is just notes, by the way. Main concept. Just make a game. Just make a game. Set. No. Not even that. Not even that. Last time give us that much. Why are you capitalized? Just make a game with no RPG maker. That is the main concept. That is the main concept. That is the main concept. Setting. Gemstone. Conflict. Preempt. Setting. I am getting terrible ideas. It's going to make it more complicated than what it really should be. Because what I simply need is I just need a game I can sell on itch.io or Steam. Steam apparently requires a $100 upfront fee. It's Steam, and they cut out every sale at Steam. Whereas itch.io, you can... itch.io is more open, but we all know what the reason why I don't cover that much itch.io stuff is because itch.io is really hard to find anything on. Because there's just so much of it, and most of it's not great. It's great if you want just a concept or if it's your first game. There are a lot of games I play which are from itch.io, like Ravenfield, for example. Ravenfield was itch.io. Yet, again, the reason why we don't play the itch.io version and never have is because of the only game that I really stuck with itch.io was Project Wingman. And I much prefer the Steam version. I haven't played the Steam version very much, but still, it's just... Yeah, and itch.io version you can get paid in donations or with a full or you can recommend a donation thing, or you can let it go for free. You can have multiple versions of the game. It's just a lot. itch.io has a lot going for it, but it really doesn't have a very cohesive, like, searching for game thing. So it's best off to only really expect anything from itch.io if you have a following of some type, kind of like I do. But then again, the following I have don't have money. No offense, but the following I don't have money. Why would you? We play the same games. So yeah, so the money will be coming from outside of our community. People coming into the community fresh. So and because of that, I don't know how to really monetize my game. Everything else it's monetized. The physical version is paid for, the digital version is free. But a game though, a game in 2021, let's be honest. But a game in 2021, how's it gonna work? We could do the it method of the first story of the game is the first story chapter story using Freaking, give me, which one? You're fine. The first, actually, you're not fine. Actually, you have a complete story. The first story, which is what I call chapters, and because I would like to pretend my books are, visible pages. I like to pretend my books are short story books. So stories are essentially just that. They're chapters or stories that can be interchangeable. So the first story is free, and the first story for like each character that means start in a different place is free. Like you can start as a faction. Well, that comes to main story ideas. You can start. Actually, let's simplify that. You have a choice of multiple starts. And mobile starts that instant lead to a story. There's another reason why I use stories so loosely, because for me, a story in Green&Blue's terminology is essentially a self-contained book, a self-contained media. Like a story in my book, like a story in any of my books is self-contained, in theory. Some of them aren't. Some of them probably require you to read the book, but all of them are pretty self-contained. Think about it in the way that People Wanted a Thousand-Year Door did its chapters. Each chapter is pretty self-contained. If you booted the game from one chapter or another, it's pretty self-contained, except for it being an RPG where you wouldn't have the stuff. But the story is pretty much self-contained. But yeah, that was a major inspiration when it came to one of my stories. Was that kind of idea. And actually, there's nothing stopping us from having what I particularly liked about the People More 1,000-Year Door chapters. The chapters is each chapter was had a very good format. You went to the chapter and at the end of the previous chapter, you get a scene that sets up. You have a scene that's kind of very storybook-like that gives you the goal of the mission, that gives you the goal of the story, and then you don't see it again, and then you don't see it again until after you finish the final boss, get the thing you need, get the crystal you need to get in 1,000-Year Door, and once you get that, then you see the storybook thing, and that's what I really like about the People Writing the Stories, is that kind of story motif, and how you begin and end stories, which is kind of what I did in my books as well. Which we have to go to a book that I actually published, the only book I actually published. Life and War. See, Star Story 2, that's the story summary, and this will eventually get bigger and bigger and bigger. As it went from what you were supposed to have in a normal novel format in 2020 and just became its own thing, as all things in time. Story 2, and I'm now looking for in the story 2, there we go. Story 4. And then the stories don't have a thing. They really should. I really should add a thing. Should I add a thing to the thing I already published? Probably not, but still. Because I'm working on a second edition that's going to have a full color. That's going to have a full, pixel art cover now that I do that, and not gonna have many changes. It's just gonna be edited. Like it was edited before, but it's going to be actually edited now because I can actually edit. Because before I was terrible at it, now I actually am good. And I've been just generally just picking through it, just keep editing it. Like I don't want to change any information, even the stuff that I kind of messed up on with the lore. But yeah, it's a bit too late. So yeah. So there's that. So we want. Okay, so yeah. Whoa. Game notes. You have a choice of multiple starts that instantly lead to a story. Each main story is about getting the heck do I call them? The heck do I call? I've completely forgotten what I call them. Well, they're basically just OP items that you can get once you beat the story. Once you dominate each faction, in positive or negative ways, either becoming their hero for allowing them to accomplish their goals, or becoming their villain, or by conquering them. And that's basically it. You either win as a friend or you win as them. There is no winning. There is no winning and just walking. There is no winning and not actually continuing the story. Do I really have a name for them? I don't think so, actually, now I think about it. Now I'm looking at it. Because the capital of the Empire faction, the main, well, there used to be the main faction that in that setting before things got before the revolutions happened. But yeah, its jeweled crown is its capital, so I can't use jeweled crown items to in that because it's gonna conflict with that. It's gonna get rid of that joke, and it's gonna make that joke hit differently. So yeah. Gems of power. Good enough for right now. Gems of the Coast! That's even better. Oh, that's even better. Gems of the Coast, and each faction has 1A, and they're all OP, but they all are mainly doing the same thing. They're based on the Illumine's Fist from Everforth and Beyond, from the Everforth and Beyond, and basically all of their story after the Illumination War, where the Illumine's Fist is basically like a lightsaber, kind of, where it's like this thing where, without going into the backstory of the Shadow People and the Illumine, their mortal enemies. Okay, so the Shadow People use guns, and the Illumine use swords, and the Illumine are the bad guys, which is odd because that's usually not how that works. But the Illumine, well, Luminari is actually their name. The Illumine is their leader, and their leader has basically the best sword. And when he won the Illumination War, one of the mini wars he just won, and when he won the Illumination War, he basically took off that weapon, and now he has it as like a war trophy, which hangs out normally like an inch above his chest armor, like inch above his actual heart. And it just sits there most of the time. But when he uses it, it can either be damaging or not damaging, and it's basically a fist that he can use, where he can just control it with his mind and position it exactly where he wants it in 3D space, all around him for, I don't know what the range is, but it's probably just visual range in its entirety, and just place it wherever he wants, tension it hot, cold, so he can grab stuff, or he can just go through things. Don't know how hot it is, but it's probably extremely, well, it's not technically hot, it's probably just extremely cuttable. You can just go through things because it's really powerful. It has a lot of dual energy that can be controlled precisely how you want it, so you can go clean through someone's stomach and not burn them. But having something like a 3 inches, a spear of 3 inches in diameter, not gonna be the best for you. So yeah, that's what the Illumine's Fist is, and the Gems of the Coast are essentially kind of the same thing, except they all have a different elemental effect, magic elemental effect. So yeah, and they all are really good at it. That might be changed for the game, but we'll see. Now, again, this is getting done. We can always pick a more advanced version of this same concept later, but in Project Get Game Done, we might make multiple of these projects, or we probably should make multiple games under the Project Get Game Done. Which I guess retroactively, the card game is a Get Game Done. Because I got it done. I just need an art for it, which I'm suck in. I only got 2 out of like 22 cards. Only 2 cards of their final art. But yeah, I really need to get back on the horse for that, because that can be done at any time after more playtesting, of course. I just need to do more art, because there's not much playtesting to do either. All the playtesting is when I face myself. I just need to get a neutral victory each time. Or a victory where it could have gone either way. That's all I want. So that's balanced for me. I'd call it that. But anyway. Each faction has one kit by completing the story. Like, I want it to be more complicated than it is. doing it. I'm doing it one of two ways. I mean, like, I think I know how to do this in RPG Maker. Well, I can always roll it back. I can always roll it back, just make it simple. It's Project Getting Done. We're getting a game done. We're not making a great game, we're making a good game. A good enough game. No, we're not making a good game, a good enough game. Good enough that I can sell for $1 anywhere. Probably literally, because that's actually a pretty good joke. You can buy that for like would you buy this for $1? But anyway. Once we get one out there, we can always add to the one. We can always add more content, either in DLC or whatever. Either in DLC or updates, or more additions. Considering, well, on Steam you can sell DLC. I don't know about itch.io. I don't think itch.io you can. I think you can sell the game. Technically, you probably can sell DLC on itch.io, but it's not gonna be very intuitive. And technically, because it is a binary choice, yeah, I mean, it is a binary choice that really doesn't depend on any other guy. Well, let's look at the weak victory, standard victory, total victory. And I didn't make a chart detailing about who needs to kill who and how it works, but really, Sapphire Republic wants to make the Gemstone Federation if everyone or most are free. The players can make the players. Probably your players can also make the Gemstone Federation, but let's ignore the players bit because this is just for tabletop roleplay. So the Sapphire Republic can either make the Garnet Union with the Ruby Kingdom, but has to dominate the Ruby Kingdom. The Gemstone Federation, so the Ruby Kingdom has to lose, but I can also make the Gemstone Federation, and it's the only faction where you can actually have it all. You can have every faction work together. So you make the Gemstone Federation, where every faction works together, but yeah, every faction works together. And technically, if you remove some other, well, again, this is going to we're going to look at a chart later. Or I'm going to make a chart off camera because this is a lot of thinking. But we're gonna the rover in this case are going to make a chart later detailing who needs to defeat who for their total victory. Ignore the rest, total victories. And then Ruby Kingdom needs to defeat the Emerald Empire, and Ruby Kingdom needs to defeat everybody. But the Ruby Kingdom needs to defeat the Emerald Empire and the Sapphire Republic to win, to get total victory, and then they make the Ruby Empire because they are so creative. The Emerald Empire needs to somehow reincorporate Sapphire Republic and Ruby Kingdom and push the Onyx Confederation off their lands back across the mountains to the desert where they belong. Total victory is essentially beat everyone somehow and make them all under you. Onyx Confederation, essentially the same goal, except you have a little small areas at the beginning of the game, and then you gotta conquer the rest. Crystalline Free City, survive. Well, I guess the Crystalline Free City's goal is to make peace in the region so they can trade better. Lingshu Dynasty. I guess the Lingzhou Dynasty. That's actually, I forgot where I got that from, but that's also a type of I think that just means, I think that's Gemstone in Chinese, maybe. But I think you just plugged in. I don't think that's EC-ish, where it's a combination of Russian and Chinese. But anyway, and by Chinese, I default to traditional Chinese, of course. But anyway, okay. So total victory for them. I really haven't gone to them yet, but them probably dominate the region somehow. Basically they all have to submit to them as either submit to them as puppets or under their territory control. The solar magicry, not a kind of a standard, not a standard thing I know, but they're supposed to be weird alien dudes. I mean, they're just basically Hyos, like just came and said, like, let's party people and just conquer everything. Well, their goal is to conquer the Gemstone Coast, but their standard victory would be to conquer the Free City, and their total victory would be just conquer the Gemstone Coast. Their victory would be dominate the entire Gemstone Coast. So at least that's easy now that I think about it. Most of these factions want to dominate the entire coast if they can, or survive if they can't. So that makes things easy. Because technically, if you, okay, let's say, okay, so you're an RPG, so you have the standard store. You start as a non-aligned person who just arrived in the Gemstone Coast via the Crystalline Free City. And then you go and you wipe out the Ruby Kingdom and have the Ruby Kingdom be dominated. You wipe out the Ruby Kingdom, either make it yours or you dominate with the Crystalline Free City. And then you go to the Ruby, and then you go to the Emerald Empire, and dominate with the Ruby Kingdom. And then you go to the Sapphire Republic, and then you want to get the Federation victory you heard about online, and you don't have it yet, because you did the rest of the stuff, and the rest of the stuff you either got Wick victories or Stand victories for. And then, and then of course you have to take out the Magic Curry, and the Dynasty, and the Onyx. Oh, maybe help the Onyx. Probably not, you dominate the Onyx. So, yeah, that's the thing, because the Federation does require everyone. Yeah, the Federation should be the secret hard victory, because it's only available in only one of their branches. The standard victory will probably just be dominate the region. Let's be honest. The standard victory is just dominate the region either you directly or you with a faction. And once you dominate the region all by yourself or so, because there probably aren't any other level 10s. Actually, each faction probably has at least one level 10. Level 10 is level 10, and RPG Maker is level 100. So I'm going to need to figure that out. Once I figure that out, that's going to be an issue. So yeah. And then each faction is level 10 that you have to either work with or destroy or dominate. But yeah. And we worked that out. Okay. Now we worked that out. Now let's write it down. Help them win or conquer them. Actually, we kind of already did that. I just explained it for camera and just making it and just thinking about it in my own head. I don't need that because I'm gonna need to do it anyway. And then we get hurt. So actually, it's gonna be a lot like New Vegas. It's gonna be New Vegas. It's gonna be a New Vegas-like kind of a RPG Maker game. It's gonna be a lot like New Vegas, isn't it? Yeah, because there's not gonna be really venturing out into other locations. It's just gonna be there's just gonna be the let's count. So let's count. Where are you? Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, 3 main factions. The 4 main actually 5 main factions. Let's be honest. 5 main factions and 2 secondary factions. I know that's a lot. But you know how it is. So yeah. This lead to a story. So, I don't know. It's like no, I don't. Not the ones that I don't know the ones that can either. Okay, the issue I'm having right now is okay. What is the main story of Skyrim? If you said stopping the dragon invasion, I would think you're right. But there's also the main story of Skyrim, which is the Civil War. Each... Does Skyrim even have endings? Does it only have one? I don't know. I actually do not know if Skyrim has multiple endings. I don't really see the ending. All the things which I see the endings all the time. I never seen the endings of Skyrim. So I don't know if it has multiple endings. I don't even know if it has the New Vegas ending. But I don't think it does have multiple endings. That's like, again, I just flat out never heard of it. Multiple ending / New Vegas ending, where you just tell you about different things in the setting. But anyway. The primary I think overarching is the correct word. Arching story is about making riches, a life, helping the region for conquering the Gemstone. Oh, I got another bad idea. I mean, it's not a bad idea per se. It's actually a pretty good idea. That would be pretty fun, pretty unique for a it's a pretty good idea for an RPG Maker game, but like I said, this is getting done. About making riches, a life in. How about you're hungry to get to the quest? Oh, can I do simple projects? Like I know. Like this is a simple project. You know, you just go on one quest line. It's like not hard. Like how hard can it be? But not for the Gemstone deal. I want to do the Gemstone quest justice. But it's game done. Actually, you don't need that there. Okay. It's gonna be a lot like New Vegas. it's basically gonna be a lot like New Vegas mixed with Xenoblade. Cause actually probably not Xenoblade either. It's gonna be a lot like New Vegas, but you can actually see there is also weird stuff going on. Oh, this is making things hard. It's making things hard. I think I know how to do that in an RPG Maker. I think, but again, you can done. If it doesn't, if it conflicts with the main concept, then we're not doing it. Unfortunately. Well, I mean, it's not even that. I can always figure out how to do stuff in RPG Maker. The main thing is how much coding. The main thing is, does it require coding or not? So yeah. Man, I wish that I had saved. There's one take down the project on my external hard drive, but I didn't. I thought I did. I just didn't. Probably because I thought RPG Maker would save games via the cloud or something. I mean, it might not because people actually make financial projects on RPG Maker that wouldn't make much sense. But anyway, or if I had saved in the main Steam file, it does it. So yeah. Gameplay ideas. We can make a chart. Active. And one start. Start and can make a part using Trium in style. Again, just putting it back into Arbitrium. But yeah. Oh, I think it's plot side content for getting EXP. Although you can't have EXP and merit and currency be in the same system. And we're going to use the standard RPG Maker setup. Gold. Stuff to help with the main. So I have to story. Okay, that's done. I know that doesn't look very done, but that's pretty much done for what I do with this friggin' thing anyway.